Hello and welcome to On the Wrong Lead Live. My name is Josh, Twitter handle at Cherry Drank, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a little Thursday night racing. We're gonna talk a little Belmont. We're gonna talk a little bit of StableDuel's big game this weekend, Delaware Park, $10,000 prize pool, and I believe there's also like an NFT horse you're gonna get. Let's add in my boy Chase here. Chase, do you know what an NFT is?
I believe it's some sort of like fungus cream it's something fungible. So like a cream, like to keep like for your toes, possibly. Is that? It's a non-fungible. I forgot what T stands for. Basically, it's the Pogs of this generation.
Yes, I will take the Pogs of this generation. Danielle would be so proud of you for you knowing. Do you know? Of course, she must know what they are because she loves talking about the blockchain. Speaking about the blockchain, we got our own little piece of the blockchain, Mr. Caleb. How you doing, Caleb? How was Tennessee? Right?
It was great, man. Didn't want to leave. Had a good time. Weather was pretty good, all things considered. It rained on us one night, so we were glamping. So I wanted a backpack and just wanted a cabin. So,
dude, don't lie. You were glamping regardless of what the precipitation was going to be. No matter what you did, it was going to end up in a glamp situation.
Yeah, no, you know everything I do is glamorous, Jason.
The best part is I think Caleb was telling me that like they were looking at like some like Instagram worthy like cabins, and then like I guess like they went to just like a really nice cabin instead of like an Instagram worthy one. So there was a little bit of a downgrade there, but it wasn't much. Speaking of downgrades, Mark.
That was rough. That was really rough.
Look at. I'm just saying the transitions just happen. All right, like the words happen, and then I don't know. I figured with all the fat jokes you'd made towards Brian that it was time that some came your way.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
And I will have to say that you have a bit of a crisis on your hands. You told me about before the stream.
Yes. This is the total amount of brown liquor I have in my house. So I already have the backup, which is I go to wine after that. I have the quick change set up, which is I failed miserably.
Like Caleb, Chase, Mark, you guys have seen my liquor cabinet. Like, could you imagine me just coming up and being like, this is all I got left in the house? Like, you guys would probably be like, are you going to die? Like, I don't understand. Although you're pretty good, Mark. You usually only keep like one or two open bottles at a time, whereas like Caleb only keeps one or two open bottles next to him, exactly. while he's got like 20 more sitting somewhere else. And the open bottle himself, Mr. BD Horse Player, Brian. I have to ask you, how did you let that bartender put Coke with tequila? You are Mr. Indiana. You should have known. You should have seen this coming. Like, how did this happen?
So, despite what Mark may feel about the full-figured male making a comeback, I was having a drink bought for me by a female. Mark doesn't understand what that means, but that's when the female likes you and wants to be friends with you. Mark, it's okay. But no, seriously, a group of us went up to the bar. The bartender just wasn't paying attention. They said soda, and all of a sudden, poof, it was soda, and it came out Coca-Cola.
I was very disappointed when like I started talking about squirt, and apparently like that's like not a thing in most of the country.
Squirt is interesting. I can go back to. You probably don't even know this one, Josh. Before Squirt, there was Canfield's 50-50.
Oh, 50-50. Oh, yeah. 50-50.
Okay, see.
Oh, yeah.
Now that was kind of a regional thing too, and I can tell because Caleb's just checked out on this conversation. But, you know,
Dude,
that's
look
all
at
right.
look at Caleb. Look at that figure, dude. You know he's never had a can of soda in his life. Like,
Where is it pop or soda where you are? Aren't you guys in like the pop area? of the
yeah, it's
country?
pop. But I mean, like, the thing is like, Mark, I don't know if you've ever heard of a thesaurus, but there are multiple words for the same thing. Oh, Chase is just like this. This pop conversation has gone on way too long.
Are you being paid by the word now, Josh? That seems to be the trend that I'm picking up on.
Wait, hold up. Somebody's getting paid in here. This is bullshit.
Oh man. Anyways, we got a couple people already popped up in chat. And Bremont is agreeing. She's like, yes, Brian. Squirt is not a thing, apparently. Mr. Brandon, you better say hi to us. You better come back and say hi to us when we're out there in Saratoga. Mark will find you.
I will find him. I know where he lives.
That coming from you, that just sounds super creepy.
It does sound a little creepy, doesn't it?
It doesn't sound. It sounds
and then
extremely creepy. We're gonna put him in timeout for a second here.
Oh,
All right,
man.
he's back. That's fine. Stephen Fox saying Chase is back. Talking about fungus is just a bonus.
Yeah.
And Road Warrior popping in from the Poconos asking how we're all doing. I think we're all doing pretty good. But yeah, let's get on here. So Caleb, I know you had a play here at Canterbury Park. All right, we got 2 minutes to post here, and let's pop open the PPs here. You're playing. So I asked you for a play, and you decided to send me a pick 5 that started before this even started. So I don't know how that worked out. I wasn't going to post that, but you did get the chalk. Was it the one? Was it Sunny Smack in the last race?
Yeah, I mean, I think the sequence on the whole looks kind of chalky. I mean, the only reason I played the pick 5 is there's a horse in the 7th race, the 2-horse Pranked that I really like. He's like 8-1 in the morning line. I don't know what price we're actually going to get. I'd be surprised if it's that long. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the double probables, he's the favorite. And, well, he's the favorite with the 6 on top in the doubles anyway. So clearly not going to get 8-1. But I wanted to get to that horse blind because I knew he would take money. So I threw in a pick 5. And long story short, I'm alive with the chalk in the first leg. And I think one of the chalks wins this leg. I think it's the 1 or the 6. And I don't think anybody else has a chance. So I have both covered here.
Yeah, I leaned in pretty heavy on the 6 and decided to keep 6 on top and an exacta 6 over the 2-4. I feel like the 2 might be the inside speed that kind of benefits from the pro straw. And if Dare Felix gets out there, it's going to be the speed that lasts. And then gone a little Luhu. Looks like the horse that might be able to pick up some pieces. So, and then I'm doubling 6 to the 2-9 in the next race.
Brian, what you got?
I can talk. I'm going to go with a chalk here too because why not? But I'm going to go with Chase. Chase is on the heater. Can Caleb's due to just implode? So we're going to go with the 6 over the 8 next race. I'm looking for a price next race on the turf. Sorry, Caleb, but when the man's hot, he's hot.
I'm not hot with horses. It is 100% human sports that I've been doing well with, not the equine, the equine sports.
That doesn't translate over.
This is gonna be weird. I wasn't talking about betting you.
Oh,
this is weird now. Sorry.
Our boys
it's only weird if you make it weird. Don't make it weird.
Let's just stare at each other for a moment.
Our evil Bob Dole. Someone said chalk, and he's very interested now. All of a sudden, our very own chalk eating weasel.
Chalk eating weasel number 1.
Mark, I know you were mostly focused on Emerald Downs. Did you look at anything here?
Didn't look at anything at Canterbury. I completely ignored the card, so which I never should do because turf racing in the evening. Who doesn't love that? But no, I skipped it.
All right, and they're still walking around here a little bit, so we probably got a couple seconds before they cross over to the turf course. So, Mark, I did want to bring up real quick. We do have the $5 contest for StableDuel at Emerald Downs.
Yep.
And I know you got a little bit of you got a stable here. You got a little play that you put in.
Yeah, I threw together a stable. I figured I would just take a shot. I know these are sort of fun. It's a little honestly challenging putting together a 10-horse stable at a track that has that few entrants because, obviously the price per horse ends up being rather high. So you end up sort of getting a little creative. But yeah, I threw together a little bit of a stable here. Definitely has a few chalks in there and a few absolute bombs. So interesting. See if I can put something together, string a few together here.
What's your best play in here?
Oh man, I don't really know if I necessarily have a best play. I think there's a few horses in here that probably that are pretty singleable. The 5 in race 2, who the name is hard to deny will be, I think, hard to deny, even though the horse is only 1 for 12 across the surface.
I see what you did there. I just wanted to put it out there that I see what you did there, and it is appreciated.
Yeah. And I think in the 4th, the 6, Don't Rub It, is going to also be a fairly hard horse to deny. So, albeit closers aren't necessarily want to have at Emerald. I was just going to go, but there goes Brian.
Phrasing.
Yeah, I am not mature enough for that horse's name.
Not mature enough for it. Nope.
I literally had to look away.
Well, it's like it wasn't that bit, Don't rub it, sure. I mean, baseball, that comes from being hit by a pitch. But then when you throw in words like hard afterwards, like you really leaned into the imagery.
I mean, he knew what he was doing.
He looked straight into the camera and just made it kind of a little too long.
Jockey goes straight to the whip on Don't Rub It in the turn. Hurry up, Josh. Move along.
Well, they're loading here into the gate. Chase, are you warmed up?
No, I'm not. Who's calling it? Brian?
Chase
Mark?
Sesums.
Dude,
No,
we
Brian,
tried
Mark,
doing this
Caleb?
last time,
Caleb,
and
Mark,
we stopped after 10 seconds.
Oh, God.
Hey, for the record, I'm going to beat Mark in StableDuel at Emerald Downs. That's all. Good luck, Chase.
It's a low bar. I mean, I'm pretty easy to beat.
Well,
Listen, come on, you guys. All right.
focus.
And they're off. And it looks like Candy Prince out with Dare Felix, and Dare Felix pokes a nose in front with Candy Prince tracking along the rail right outside of Dare Felix. We got Weston's Wildcat. The 4 got a little Lulu sitting behind them. And last of all, May We All. Pretty relaxed pace here heading into the first turn. And it looks like Dare Felix might have poked ahead right out in front. Still pretty closely packed with Candy Prince and Weston's Wildcat. Got a little Lulu still sitting in its stocking position, and maybe all starting to get a little bit of run to it. Now they are through the turn and about to hit the stretch. We've got Candy Prince on the rail holding tough, and the 6 Dare Felix looks like it's ready to assert itself for the lead, or maybe just flatten out as the 1 May We All comes rumbling by, with the 7 Weston's Wildcat actually giving a little bit of run from the outside, but it looks like it's going to be the 1 May We All with a photo 4-7, or sorry, was that 4-7? Yeah, 4-7 for second, and who gives a fuck about third?
Hey, that was good. I like it, Chase. Good job. Glad you're back, man, because we tried doing that last week and it just did not work. It did not work out. So you're still live there, Caleb.
Yeah, I used both equally. I mean, I hate to do that, but I didn't think anyone else could win and thought there was only 2. So yeah, still alive on an all-A ticket so far.
Cool. Well, why don't we move on and start taking a look at Belmont here? Got 3 races I kind of wanted to talk about. We got 3 really nice stakes races. Mark, what are the chances that we actually see turf racing?
I I think Belmont will do everything they can, considering it's closing weekend. They're going to try to keep the turf, at least the stakes, on. So it wouldn't surprise me if you end up with the 7th and the 9th both stay on, but the rest of the card comes off, and you may have a real deep, heavy turf course. That's my guess. But, I mean, it's supposed to Saturday doesn't look bad. It looks like all the rain is going to be this evening and into the day tomorrow. So we'll have a little chance to drain. Belmont turf does drain fairly well. Of the NYRA surfaces, it probably drains the best on the turf.
The leg kick himself, Bobby Mark, says it's monsooning here. So
yeah, they were calling for like 2 inches of rain today and like another inch of rain tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I think Mark's like, I hope Mark's right to keep the big races on at the very least.
I really hope they keep them on because both turf races are just really, really good races, and I just hope they're on just for the fan factor of watching them.
And the whole late pick 5 is 4 out of 5 turf races too, so hopefully they keep it on best they can.
Sorry, guys, don't mind me. I'm a little distracted. Just had a very odd purchase on my Discover card, and I'm trying to freeze it right now.
oh yeah, no problem. You sure it wasn't Drunk You yesterday?
Yeah, did you black out and go on Amazon again?
Most positive what it was, and I could tell you the company name, but I'm not going to do it now. But definitely was nowhere near Washington State yesterday.
Wait a second. Are you sure?
Plenty of witnesses.
Road Warrior is saying that you might have one of the two go to the Widener instead. So
I wouldn't surprise me if they did that, because then they could run them both, and they can run them both in the deluge and get away with it. Then they can chew up the course, and they don't care at that point.
cool. Well, Caleb, since you said that you've spent like 20 hours looking over these races, I'd like to hear your thoughts here on race 7, the Belmont Oaks, 1.25 miles on the inner turf. These are 3-year-olds, so you can't be that upset.
No, and they're fillies, and I really have no beef with any of the fillies or mares in the turf division. We generally get along. At any rate, yeah, I spend a lot of time taking a look at this, and I think that not only for this race, but also for the Belmont Derby itself, it really boils down to, what do you think of the Aidan O'Brien runners? He's historically had a very poor record when shipping to the States in the last couple of years, but he also literally filled out the entire trifecta in the Breeders' Cup Mile last year. So including Order of Australia at something like 70-1. So this is the Aidan O'Brien runner between this one and the one in the Belmont Derby later on in the card that I probably think is the horse to beat, the 5 Santa Barbara. I just don't think there's really a whole lot of ability in most of the U.S. runners. I mean, they're fine, don't get me wrong, but I think they're more like grade 3 kind of horses, whereas Santa Barbara was just missed in a couple Group 1s. Her last out in the Pretty Polly Stakes over at the Craw was actually super good. She was facing older horses as a 3-year-old in June. She lost to Thundering Knights by just a neck. If you remember, Thundering Knights lost to Mean Mary by a neck in the Grade 2 New York Stakes a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. And that was after she had a pretty bad trip trying to close into the slow pace that Mean Mary seems to always get away with. So I do think that Santa Barbara is tons the horse to beat here. I know Aidan O'Brien doesn't have a good record with horses shipping in lately, but I don't have a lot of alternatives that I think look great. I mean, I would look at the other Europeans, maybe Sirona. I mean, I could see making the case for. I'm not interested in Plumali. I'm not really interested in Conlima. So if I was going to take an American, it would honestly probably be the 8-horse Gam's Mission. I do have a good passing interest in her, just given that she seems to be improving. She's in the best form of her career right now. And she beat Spanish Love Affair last out. So I don't know if she'll really be able to, beat a horse like Santa Barbara. But if that horse doesn't show up with her best effort, I do think that Gam's Mission is probably the one that I'd want to use.
Chase, please look at the comment first.
That's right.
Hashtag Axelrod.
Remember Axelrod? Everyone around Discord remembers Axelrod. So with the with the weather being the way that it's going to be, I want to have a horse that's 100% going to be out on the front end, like in this heavy turf, and with it being soft, with it being yielding. And so with the horses I know are going to run on the front, it's going to leave me with either Con Lima or it's going to leave me with Spanish Love Affair. Don't really have to do some replay work on the Aiden O'Brien horse. I feel like it feels like the tables are kind of evened out for Aiden O'Brien, though, with the no Lasix in these stakes races, because his horses are just so used to it, whereas a lot of these are coming off. But I don't know. I probably just go full Josh, and I know you never go full Josh, but I think I probably go full Josh on either Con Lima or Spanish Love Affair.
Yeah, I'll be the person to piss all over Caleb's parade in here. Santa Barbara ships to the States, and I realize they've been, she's been running versus much tougher in Europe. Not going to argue about that at all. But her figures have just not come up fast enough to really be a player in here. She has to improve. She's going to take all the money. She's going to go up at 3 to 5 for a trainer that historically has not shipped well to the United States. I just think Santa Barbara takes a ton of money, and I just don't really like her here. I realize Ryan Moore is coming across. I realize she's the Euro of the Euros in here you probably want, but there's just so many question marks. And, I think there's a couple of interesting domestic horses. I know Caleb doesn't like Plum Ali, but I really do like Plum Ali. She's getting second off the layoff here. Rosario and the Wonder Again had her just way too far out of it. I think she gets a little extra added distance. She was flying late in that race, and a little bit of stretch out should help her. And I think when you're talking about a deep tiring surface, you want a horse that are pretty comfortable and get the distance. And by what she showed in that Wonder Again, the extra distance shouldn't be a problem here at all. And the other horse I'm in here that I'm a little bit interested in is Higher Truth. Chad Brown horse has won 2 in a row. Got 1.25 miles, which I think is one of the only horses in here to have actually won at today's distance. I realize it's an allowance at Belmont, but this is a horse that, Chad isn't somebody who is going to take dumb shots with horses. He puts horses in places where he thinks they can win. And I don't understand why he's running this horse here when he could bring her to Saratoga in a week and find a really nice allowance or a black type to stick her in. He's putting her in the deep end of the pool. I think he's got her ready to go, and I think she has every right to take a step forward here. So I'm actually really interested in Higher Truth here at 12 to 1 on the morning line. So you're getting paid to take that gamble.
Ho, 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 Stephen Fox.
Brian, what are you thinking?
Well, it's an 8-horse field, and you guys have covered everybody. My big smart comment was going to be Chad Brown 12 to 1, and ask if this is a big weekend for Belmont, and it is. But Mark did talk about Chad Brown there, and I think that's an interesting spot for Chad. The question I have is it's a New York turf race, so of course going 1.25 miles, the question becomes what actually happens to the pace, and if it is a little soggy or whatnot, I'd be curious to see what happens with the scratches. But, Chase hit it spot on. I think you want, Spanish Love Affair up front. And, if anything changes with the pace with scratches between Con Lima and Spanish Love Affair, you're looking at a possible low speed situation on turf. And that's something I'm going to watch closely. If they both do stay in there, then, I'm probably hoping that they tire themselves out. Maybe Tyler and Flavorian get into it early, and I'm going to look for an off-the-pace type. And at that point, I'll just take whoever's the bigger price between Plum Ali and Higher Power or Higher Truth. Sorry.
I mean, I would talk about this race, but Chase just kind of blew my spot up already. So I am going full Josh, and I'm going to go on the 1 and the 4 in the spot. If I gun to my head, you told me to pick one, I'd probably take the 1, Con Lima. I'm just going to take the one that got a nice win over Plum Ali, who was Plum Ali Plum Ali was the second or third choice, right, in the Philly turf. But, was one of the best 2-year-olds we had last year. And, still is figures wise is right there with everybody else. But I don't think that there's going to be the pace set up for her in the spot. So kind of agree. I think I'm just going to stick with the 4 place horses, the 1 and the 4 in this spot.
You know, Ray, real quick, what scares me about Plum Ali, since you called it out there, is the comment from the last race, when that's the tight hold at rear and Joel stays aboard. You know, in a race that pace may be an issue. I don't know if you want to get so far back here. You know, that horse was 7 lengths back early, and that may just be too much in this spot.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. But, you know, my thing is Rosario doesn't normally muck up a ride 2 times in a row on the same horse. You know, he didn't lose the mount here. They kept him up. And normally he figures out after doing something stupid like he did in the last race that, oh, yeah, I was too far back, and I'll fix that, be a little closer this time and get there. So.
Looking in the chat here, Bobby Mark saying that her firm races look good. Our good is probably Euro firm. But her soft turf races look atrocious. He likes Plum Ali and Serona.
Yeah, that was my other thing with Santa Barbara, is that that's who I imagine he's talking about. Her, you know, her one soft turf running was pretty atrocious, albeit it may be a lot farther than she wants to go, but she got absolutely annihilated in that race.
To be fair, Snowfall won that race by 16 lengths in a performance that still has a lot of European experts trying to understand what happened. So I that's a race I kind of just draw a line through. It was heavy going, and she was stepped way up in trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I do. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, and the European soft would be off the turf in America for the next 3 days.
Yeah, I was going to say he does have an argument here with Serona, who she's got 2 races on soft going that are pretty impressive here, those 2 races in Longchamp. And I would imagine she's your classic. Obviously, she's moving the Chad Brown. She's not getting Lasix here, but she screams of improving horse who then all of a sudden runs a clunker, so you assume bled. And I mean, I guess she's only beaten by 3 1/4. And it's, you know, it's the Diane, but she's going to move into the Chad Brown barn, and you know, that race I know had a lot better than here. So yeah, no, Serona is somewhat interesting.
Hey, real quick, just because it's post time, I like the 6 at Emerald. That's all.
I like the 1 at Emerald.
I copied Mark's ticket and changed 1 horse.
Oh, did you really? You
Are you talking about his stable, or are you talking
stable.
about his stable? Oh god, I had the noise on here, or the sound on. Let me put that up for everybody. Yeah, it looks like we're at post time.
I didn't have time to handicap it, so you know.
Out of curiosity, Caleb, which horse did you change?
I think I dropped the horse. The cheapest horse he had, I got rid of. It was a $250 horse. I forget what it was. Poppy C Note, I think.
Yeah, the 4 in race 5.
And I used the 1 in race 1. Wait, no, he used the 1 in race 1. I used the 2 in race 1.
Chase, you got anything at Emerald?
I'm going to bet this 2 to win.
15-1.
Yep.
Nice little price there.
We are all over this race, aren't we?
And then, Mark, you said you're on the 1. Rough
Yeah, I'm on
Ride.
the 1 here. Yep.
Caleb by Transitive Properties also on the is also on the 1. And Brian, sorry, which one you like, the 4?
I like the 6.
The 6?
2 Mac Mountain. I'll leave the 4 for you. I saw that high E1 number. Go ahead and take it.
Let me scroll down real quick. Ooh, that's a very high E1 number.
Take it, buddy.
And you got Kutan aboard. But it's also 8-5. So that's gonna be a pass for me. But yeah, 7-2 on the morning line and StableDuel is probably fair. Looks like we got a SMX Jeff here.
Oh, that's Fu Man.
Oh, is that Fu Man?
That's Fu Man.
He's got the 3 in StableDuel. 5-1 right now. It looks like it was 3-1 on the morning line. So it went the other way. Mr. John Wilbanks is on the 2 here at Emerald as well. Him and the Wolf seeing eye to eye.
Man, I thought 8,000 was just too much for that 3 here. But Fu Man's good at StableDuel. He's always in the top 10 of a contest. So I'm gonna have to defer to his expertise here.
Looks like they're loading up. And Caleb, I opened up that Doc Swinson's you sent me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, this is convenient. I normally have about 3 pours on the Thursday night stream. I'll just bring the three samples up. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you fan?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. You know who I'm a bigger fan of?
Who's that?
Mr. Chase Sessoms on the mic.
You must not read private chat like at all. All right, fuck it, I'll do it.
All right, looks like we're just waiting on the 6 to get in here. Well, he's thinking better of it.
Always nice when your horses want to load in. Yeah.
That's what you want. But hey, everyone always hates when their horse is like in the 1 gate.
Oh, the 5 reared up now. They're having some troubles there.
Yep, they got some trouble here. There's gonna be a little bit of a delay. Oh, that's definitely not the view I wanted. There we go.
Alex Cruz, man, what a vertical! He jumped like 8 feet right there.
Right, that was graceful.
Does Alex Cruz still got his streak going?
I'm not really sure.
I was watching Emerald like every night, and they were always talking about it, but I haven't checked it out in like the past week or so.
All right, they are off. It looks like the 1 Rough Ride breaks to a very quick early lead. Tracking behind them, we have the 2 Sail Evail, and I believe it is the 5 Monstradamus. 1 pretty easy lead going into the turn. Start to get a little bit from Sail Evail, and Monstradamus tracking on the outside. Also 6 Tumac Mountain starting to make a run up the rail. 21-7. Pretty quick opening quarter. Didn't seem to have any interest in saving anything from the stretch. So let's look see if he gets run down late. And it looks like it might come in the form of the 6 Tumac Mountain. They hit the stretch, and I think this 1 is gas. Tumac Mountain getting up to pass, but is going to have to hold off the 5.
Look at that 4.
I don't think the 4 is going to get it all the way up. I think it's going to go 6-1.
No, come on, hold on.
Get up there,
Yeah,
get up there.
Sometimes I can't tell if Chase is like 20 seconds ahead of me or if he's just like not watching the same race I am.
No, his feed is way ahead of mine too. So
Yeah, same. Must be like 10 seconds ahead of mine.
I'm telling you how it's going to be, not how it is.
That's one of the things where your 9-1 shot holds second in the StableDuel contest. You're pretty ecstatic, quite honestly.
There you go.
The one ran a heck of a race. I wonder if we're still seeing a bit of a speed bias carrying it. And like
speed bias, yeah.
Hey, just because 3 of you picked the first loser doesn't mean we need to talk about the first loser. The 6 ran a great race. Chase called him at the top of the stretch. What a great call. He's not Vic, he's Chase. Thank you. 6. I'm out.
I like anytime someone asserts that I'm not Vic like that, really.
just in case someone had the idea. Unfortunately, it looks like the three was I don't know, the 3 got up for 3rd, but the 3 did not seem very interested in that race whatsoever.
Not for the 8,000 StableDuel bucks. That I thought that race was too wide open for that much of a spend personally.
All right, let's get back. All what do we got here? We got 7 minutes of Canterbury. What are you live here at Canterbury, Caleb?
I got the 2 the most. I got the 2 a couple times, and then I have 1 ticket. I have the 6 on it.
Yeah, and the two looks like it took some money. It's down to 3-1.
Right.
What was it? 8-1 on the morning line.
8-1 in the book. Yeah, I truly think this 3 is just an awful favorite. I'm putting him just squarely in the winner's circle, but I think he's just a terrible favorite. And even at 3-1, I think the 2 is more than a fair bet. I think somebody wins this off the pace. I just don't exactly know who. The 3 might get the right trip, but even if he does, I just don't think he's good enough.
All right, let's move on to the next race here at Belmont. We're gonna go to race 8, the Victory Ride, Grade 3, 6.5 furlong sprints.
Josh,
And,
there's a horse in here you're going to talk about.
oh no, I don't like when you say things like that. Who do you think am I going to talk about?
Well, why don't we let's just skip ahead and see who you're going to talk about.
There's I don't recognize any of these horses.
The 4-horse, Josh. You need to look a little deeper at the 4-horse.
Overcharged.
Need
What
the
am I looking
lead.
at this for?
Needs the lead. Has the speed.
Oh,
Needs the
Blue Sky
lead,
is
has
a
the
horse.
speed, and do you see who his sire is?
Oh, we got a little star guitar action.
And do you see who the trainer is?
I don't know that trainer.
Yes, you do. Think about
What
it.
is
a
that the
little
same
now.
trainer as Minute to Stardom?
Yes, it is.
Not to be confused with the trainer of Minute Mouse.
Yeah, that is actually the same exact connections as Minute to Stardom, all the way around.
Was this the? No, this wasn't the race. She won a race at Saratoga, right?
This was the
That's
race that Minute to Stardom won. Now
Was
she
it?
won the one where everybody got pissed off at you was at Saratoga, but she then
okay.
won this after that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one. Although Star Guitars actually do pretty decent in the mud, so I think if this comes up sloppy, this horse makes a ton of sense. But Brian, what are you thinking here?
You know, I didn't get that far into it, unfortunately. I mean, I think I want to be forwardly placed here, but it looks like time form showing this race. Like there might be a few horses that have to be up there. Obviously, the horse we just talked about, the 4 is going to need to lead situation and is probably going to go. So let me be a little different here. Maybe I'm looking for somebody to sit back in that second pack. And like I said, I didn't look at this all too often, but maybe if I'm looking at the 2 or the 3, I'll probably go with the 2 inject just because the morning line's a bit higher. Has a nice, I'll say recency form or recent form. I'm not sure how I feel about Prairie Meadows shipping into this spot, but Brad Cox, Tyler Gaffleone, the horse is how do I say this nicely? The horse has made some improvements in the last 2 starts. So who am I to question those connections? That 8-1 morning line horse that could stalk and maybe win at a price.
I actually, and a good point about that too is also the one that's last race on a muddy track, and if we get the kind of rain, if the track doesn't dry out completely, this might be once again a horse to kind of look at. Mark?
Yeah, I'm going to be a chalk-eating weasel here and go with a 7, Australasia. On time form, she's the fastest horse in a race by a fair bit. She's 6'6" lifetime, perfect at Belmont, perfect at this distance. Now, if this race comes up really wet, I will probably rethink my play. But I think she's the most likely winner in here. Now, especially with a lot of speed signed up, she should have some pace to fire into. She's not the type that's going to want to be right on that. She's going to want to sit maybe 3-4 lengths off it and make one big long sustained move down the stretch, which is exactly what she did in the Jersey Girl and won quite impressively over 2 in this race.
Chase.
I think his headphones are off.
No, was it me?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Miss Brazil. Miss Brazil was entered on Belmont Stakes Day, was a trainer's decision to scratch, and it was a spot where I really liked the horse. The reason I'm willing to stick with a lot of speed on a day where or in a race where there's just a ton of speed entered is that you might have the old Belmont drying out conveyor belt going. And so I if that's the case, then I really like Miss Brazil to just get out on the front and maybe try to, put this field down. If it does turn into a duel and it is a race that can break down, then I think Australasia is going to be the horse that picks up the pieces. I mean, a quintessential Rosario horse, except for the price, more than likely on Australasia, which I mean, it got the sort of setup it needed and was able to close on a day where I feel like we thought that the Belmont track was going to be just juiced and ready for speed, and it just wasn't. And so it really kind of ran a pretty good ran pretty well, but had a little bit of a bias aiding it, I think. So I probably, based on what I see early, I either go with the Miss Brazil or with Australasia, or if it's just kind of somewhere in between both of them.
Caleb.
Yeah, so I'm not against Australasia by any stretch here. She's a perfect 6 for 6. She has wins from 5.5 furlongs up to a 2-turn mile, but and she does get the pace set up here. So again, she probably is the likeliest winner. I do think somebody wins this race off the pace, but looking at the sequence as the whole, I feel that it is a more chalky sequence. And this is probably the one favorite I want to try to get around if I can. So the one horse that I think I am definitely going to use quite a bit of is actually the 5 Super Sensational. I think that they finally figured out that she's just better going 1 turn than she is 2 turns. Mm-hmm. She started off her career 2 for 2, going 1 turn up on Woodbine. I get it, that's synthetic, and maybe she's a little better on the synthetic. But she's also been keeping much better company, going up against Clairiere, Travel Column, Obligatory, Day Out of the Office. Those are all horses that would be heavily favored in a spot like this today. She gets a lot of speed to chase after, and she finally gets back to 1 turn. That last race in the 8 Bells, she had a pretty, not the greatest trip. She was stalking the pace and got stuck behind a bunch of tired horses, couldn't really get into the clear until it was too late. And then she did make up a couple positions late. I don't know that she was ever going to win that race either way, but I don't think there's any monsters in here. And I think she could inherit that first run kind of trip where she gets first jump on the tiring leaders and might have enough to hold off Australasia late.
Chase had to log off there, so just make sure. I know he didn't get to get in there, but make sure you check him out on ABR tomorrow. So he'll be on live, I think 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. So check him out there. And I know he's got a bunch of other stuff. We did the podcast this week, and I know he plugged 9 million things that he's doing. So make sure you check him out everywhere. Looks like we got a couple of looks like Road Warriors got to go, but he's saying good luck this weekend. He'll be at Belmont on Saturday. Message him on Twitter so we want pictures of any of the horses, the pad, the spa, bankroll. All right, have a good one, Andrew. Have fun out there. I know you love Belmont. Polka Dot Taylor here. He's saying that he likes Red Ghost. No one's actually saying. Did anyone say anything about Red Ghost? Red Ghost seems kind of got left off here.
That's a 3-year-old Wesley Ward. I think most of us lose interest at the 25-month mark for Wesley Wards.
All I'll say about I won't rain on anyone's parade for picking a 10-1. But just a note that'll probably carry weight for other races on this card as well is that May 14th at Pimlico, an insane speed bias and an insane rail bias. This horse was dead to rights and managed to re-rally along that golden rail pretty deep into the stretch. I don't think she gets the setup or the trip today. And with Johnny Velasquez and Wesley Ward being up, she'll probably take a little bit of money. So I'll be against her. But at 10-1, I mean, I wouldn't talk anybody off of her at that price.
All right, looks like they're loading in the gate here at Canterbury, race 7. Caleb's 8-1 morning line pick, the 2. He's got 90% of his money going through this 2. He's got the 6 as a B.
My 6 is a nice juicy 23-1. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of B you want.
That's the kind of B you want to eat.
Well, I completely misspoke earlier. I misread my note. I had played a 2-8. I think it was 2-8 in the last race, or no, 6-8. I'm sorry. And it was supposed to be a 6-7 double because I Defend the Rose here. I had liked, especially at 9-2. I think that horse sits in a decent spot if anybody's going to beat Caleb's 2. But
I did have an interest in the 6 or the 7. I'm sorry, Brian. Yep. I agree with you. That horse looked interesting.
I thought maybe the horse he could get out or she could get out. I think right. This is Phillies. I don't have my notes right here, but I thought maybe. Get out there and steal the lead a little bit and just walk the dog and win. But we'll see.
Yep, and the 7 got shot out like a rocket there. Defend the Rose. Looks like the 4 is going to sit in second. And then they're turning, and I can't see any of the horses. But, all right, there's your 6. Your 6 is sitting there. too wide without. He's getting a little bit of cover now with that 9 going up.
I'll bring back Chase.
Yeah, I know, dude. I can't do this whatsoever, and he's just like super enthusiastic about it. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, sure. Where's my horse? And I don't have any horses in here, so
Yeah, it's a Defender is a little rank on the front end here.
I feel like it always looks like they're flying on the Canterbury turf, but it feels like speed just always holds on somehow. Not like wire to wire necessarily, but it just seems like you don't see people come from very far out of it.
Right.
No matter how quick they go. Like 46 flat should come back.
Your 2 is
somebody.
loaded.
You said that, and the 3 started to make a run too from pretty far back. I was like, man.
His 2 is loaded. He's going to get a nice little rail trip here.
7's getting real brave on the front end, though.
Looks like 2, 3, or 7 from here. 2 just needs to get up on the outside here.
And 3 is flying on the outside.
Yeah, 3's going to mow me down. I'll put him in the winner's circle.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, well.
Man, that 3 just sat just behind the 2 that entire race and just got outside of it.
As soon as you said nobody closes on the turf at Canterbury, that horse was coming.
Well, I thought somebody would close this race because I thought I saw a decent bit of speed, but Canterbury, I find some products work better at some tracks, and I find time form on the Canterbury turf is I struggle with it. That horse was 15 points too slow in any of his races, and all of a sudden jumps up and wins. Like, that's a tough one for me to get to.
Yeah, I agreed. It doesn't seem like time form works real well there. I'm wondering if it's just due to a little bit more of a flat running style because of cheaper turf horses, maybe. And obviously time form flatters closing times. It overemphasizes that come home. So,
see, and if you look at what Briss had for that race, I mean, okay, you say the 7 matured, but the winter off and came back and just ran a huge number. But I mean, the 3 fit really well on Briss right there.
Agreed, and the 3 jumps off the page on optics. If you look at that as well, I mean, this horse was an obvious use on optics, but that time form just didn't have this horse quite quick enough.
Them's the breaks when you got like 9 different products in front of you. Sometimes
it is the truth. You got to pick your sauce.
Yeah, we actually talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, and
I listened to it.
Yeah, I was telling Chase, I was like, I feel like I've gotten to a good rhythm now, using Briz to kind of like formulate my like initial opinions, and then kind of finalizing them with time form. And the reason I kind of don't do it the other way is, I mean, sometimes, like you just got to look at connections. I feel like I know you get the pace, you get the pace projector and stuff on time form, but like for me, like, I don't know, sometimes just looking at it like in that summary for Brisnet, I feel like I get a better idea of really what's kind of going on. But I'm pretty sure that the projector is computer generated, and I don't think that they really adjust it much. So, I mean, Briz is completely computer generated, so it's not like I guess there's not really much of a difference. But I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes I just get a better initial picture from Briz.
Hey, Josh.
Yep.
Ida's horse won the 6th at Canterbury. May we all?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that was Ida's horse?
Yep, that's one of Ida's horses. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, good for her.
We'll get some pictures.
She put one up in the Midwest channel if you're looking.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I want to take a brief moment just to point out the fact that, Caleb copied Mark's ticket for StableDuel.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, some way, Caleb is trailing Mark by 0.25. So
Well,
I
changed
found
one
the one
horse.
horse. I found the one horse that you changed.
So all I need to do is for Mark's cheap horse to suck worse than the cheap horse that I switched it out for.
My goodness. All right. Let's kind of move on here. Let's go over to.
And somehow Brian's beating both of us.
Oh, Brian, you snuck in there?
What do you mean I snuck in there? I said I was in there. I said I had to beat Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my 6 right there. And then we'll see what happens.
Nice. And everyone's beaten Foo. So We got that.
So
going
these
for us.
these $5 ones are really fun to play because you can play like stupid contrarian plays. It's a $5 for a night of action, and they're a blast.
I mean, that's what you have to do though, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean,
Well, especially with these field sizes, because you're paying so much for the average horse, you have to have those 20 and 30 to ones that you're using to fill out those that need to just not suck terribly, you know. So it's really challenging to construct a 10 horse field that you have enough money for, or have enough money with.
that was really just a test to see if Fu was still watching, and apparently he is. He says it's early, so
Mark, I think you hit the nail on the head. You you said the $5 ones you could be super contrarian. The free ones are the same way, and I like to compare it to a couple other horse tournament sites where the free ones are the lower buy-in ones. You get a lot of people swinging, and I don't notice it as much with StableDuel as people swinging. Even on the free ones, people are still taking the logical $8,500 horse, and then they may just have a couple $500 horses and they're trying to get positive on. So it feels like the playing field's a little bit more level as far as the lower level buy-ins than some of the other tournament sites, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and I know for sure Caleb was talking about we had talked, and he's gonna get some video up to talk a little bit about his strategy. I don't know how much he's going to give away because from what I've been told, he prints money on StableDuel. But I'm wondering if we need to get Bree to pull some information and verify this before we crown him the expert over here. But
unfortunately, the first tip he has for StableDuel is wake up looking good. So I'm already screwed. Josh, I got bad news for you, buddy.
We don't even mention Mark. Like, it's just okay.
No, it's
move on.
Poor Mark, he's having a rough night.
You guys are the worst.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
I mean, you talk about being the worst. I put on a small T-shirt for everybody to see yesterday. So, this is like in the movie 8 Mile when Eminem's like, here, make fun of me. Here's everything bad about me. I put on a small T-shirt, so your fat jokes don't even carry weight today. So this is just fantastic for me.
I mean, you pulled a good Farley. It was a good look. Or a
Hey, the T-shirt was free though. Give it to one of your kids.
It was not my T-shirt. That T-shirt found its way to a child in the apron.
Nice.
Afterwards.
After you put it on.
After you stretched it all out.
Well,
I'm not sure I understand.
it happens.
Sorry, Siri.
I don't
I was
understand
talking to
either,
you.
Something about fat guys in T-shirts, and Siri picked up on Josh's phone. I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know either. All right, so we got the Belmont Derby, 1.25 miles here at Belmont. Once again, Caleb, you're dodging the older horses here. Thank God.
I know.
Although I thought I scrolled through here, and isn't there like a 1 mile 3/8 like allowance race or something here? Do we need to talk about that one?
No, there is a 1 mile 3/8 allowance at Delaware on Saturday.
Oh, Delaware. That's what it was. Okay.
But yeah, Belmont is safe.
Hey, can I ask a question before we get into this race, just to see what you guys think? Obviously, the 5 du jour. We can all see who the owner and the trainer is there. I saw on social media some people have opinions about this. Anybody have anything worthwhile talking about with obviously Natalie Baffert owning the horse, being traded by Bill Mott? I personally don't think they're skirting the law or skirting the ruling by NYRA at this point. I think it's just a fair entry with the trainer, but I was curious what you guys thought here.
I think they're 100% skirting the rule, and they've 100% moved this horse to Bill Mott's barn. I mean, I don't know how you look at it any other way. Like, this is them fucking over the system because they know they can get away with it, and this is what you're going to see. You're going to see horses out of Bob Baffert's barn that want to get in and get entries in places where he's banned, and they're going to suddenly, for one race, appear in some other trainer's barn, and then when they want to run in California in a month, they're going to suddenly be back in Bob Baffert's barn. And this is the game you're going to see. It's bullshit, and NYRA, and I would really like to see jurisdictions put some sort of lockdown on this.
I mean, the thing is the sanctions against a trainer, right? So the sanctions against Baffert, he can't run it. Like, look it's not like he gave the horse to, I don't know, some other like fly by night person, right? Like he gave it to Bill. Like Bill Mott is taking the horse, right? I mean, like, can you, other than like Shug, like who else, like who's more what's the word I'm looking, esteemed? Maybe that's the word. Who's more esteemed that could take the horse to make this look as much on the up and up as possible?
Bill Mott is quintessentially the East Coast Baffert. You know, I mean, he that same sort of debonair air, somebody who has been there, done it all, won all the things, and is very much put on a pedestal in the racing industry. And I have no issues with Bill Mott, except for he steals my tablet on occasion. But you know, I think. You know, I mean, obviously they're playing games and they're making a real laughing stock of rulings. If you get caught doping and you get a ban, and you can just go, oh hey, I'll put my horse in this guy's, this trainer's barn for this one race where we know nothing happened. Like, I mean, obviously the horse ships in, is going to sit in his stable overnight, run the race, and then ship back to Bob's. It's just,
so here's my question. So the horse is going back to Bob. You don't think that? If this is the best, like probably the best 3-year-old.
Baffert's wife is
the best. Like, you think that the best place to put probably the best or second best 3-year-old turf horse is going to be send it back to the West Coast?
I mean, you think they're going to make an East Coast campaign?
Yeah, they're going to try to win all three. They're going to try to win all three. Well, like if you want to win big turf money, Saratoga. Like, you're not going to send this horse back to
Delaware. Always shipped into Saratoga and won big. I mean, he hasn't won big money on the turf, but he tends to not have turf horses.
Caleb, you're the voice of reason here. All right, what do you think?
I think that if it's a different ownership group, if this is Stone Street Stables or OXO Equine or whoever else, and they move the horse to Belmont, yes, they're probably skirting the law, but what can you do? But the fact that it is owned by Baffert's wife is a little bit of salt in the wound. It just makes something that we already suspect even more obvious. Like, if they're kind of just getting around the rule that way. Yeah, there's no chance this horse doesn't go back to Baffert, in my opinion. Some horses I think won't. I do think Baffert has some that, a couple of the Stone Street horses in particular, I could see staying on the East Coast with different trainers. But Du Jour, I think 100% goes back to Bob.
I think
even if it's not immediately, it might hang out for Saratoga, but eventually it goes back to Bob.
Yeah, I think some like the Spendthrift horses and things like that are connections that might not go back to Bob because his name is tainted. But this is not one of those. I mean, this horse is going to run everything at Del Mar under Bob's name because, the California Horse Racing Board is a bunch of pussies.
Well, they're off at Emerald. It looks like the 5, hard to deny here, got the lead.
If the 5 could wire this would be cool.
Who do we have, Mark?
We have the 5. Thanks, Caleb.
Oh man, yeah, the 5 sitting out there, 23 and change, looking pretty good. Getting pressed by the 4 on the inside, but the 5 is gonna make some space here.
Kind of surprised the 5 didn't go off your favorite in this field, but what do I know?
I think the only real chance here might be the 2.
The 2,
but the two's getting scrubbed on, and
Juan was just
Juan was loaded.
Juan was just looking behind his.
I mean, is this 2 going to try to re-rally?
Juan, don't start looking behind. Just ride it out.
This 1 might get up for a minor placing.
This 1 is rolling up the rail. Or no, sorry, is that the 3 coming up the rail?
I think they're all running for second.
Yeah.
Blue's the 3, red's the 1.
Not in the harness.
Do you see buggies?
Maybe.
Oh man, what are you drinking? What are you drinking there, Ryan?
Caleb, I'm glad you could note my handicapping skill. And
yeah.
Oh man.
I'll call it when it's team win. 50-50.
Yeah, team win. Team win. Brian, who do you have there?
I don't want to tout my own horn, but the 5.
Okay. All 3 of you guys on the 5. Nice. Ooh, Fu is another high place 3rd here. He's gonna be back in a little bit. All right, we'll wait for you, Fu. We'll keep the lights on. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, like, what else can you do though, right? Like, are they? They're not gonna, like, for as much as we talk about for as much as we talk about, how, Bob runs the West Coast, like, I mean, the owners literally run the entire sport.
Put a 90-day lockdown. Make it so that a horse previously trained by a doping positive trainer has to be out in another barn for 90 days.
Dude, Oak Lawn would reopen up and be like, "Hey, everyone, come here and run for high purses." Like they would like something crazy. Like there's no way that would happen. And then,
well, he can still run in half the jurisdictions out there. He can run in Maryland. He can run in California. But the Midwest, I don't think any place like Arlington, banned him. So he can run. Like what he lost New York and Churchill. He can run in Florida. I mean, like what did he really lose? I mean, yeah, he lost 2 states. He lost a bunch of the summer, but he's going to run in Del Mar all summer. That's what his horses are going to be. This is simply them shipping in to rubbing it in everybody's face that they can get away with this bullshit.
I think it'll be something to watch this summer. I think it'll be something, that's why I wanted to bring it up now. It's the first time we're seeing it, probably be the first of multiple times we see it. So I want to get some opinion there, but we could probably get off this, the Baffert stable.
Yeah, way to go, Brian.
When you see it all over social media, you have to talk about it, right? That's the hard conversation you have to have.
I don't see a problem with it.
Did we even talk about the race?
I mean,
No.
my bigger question is, I think I heard Josh say that Du Jour was a top 1 or 2 turf horse. Is that what you said?
Probably, yeah. For 3-year-olds, yeah.
I heard that. I
You don't
heard
think
that
so?
too.
I mean, I don't know if I can think of anyone better off the top of my head, but I want to disagree with you. That's like my gut feeling.
There's got to be some horse better.
Like, there's got to be somebody.
Chad has to have a couple of Chad has to have 4 or 5 just in his own barn that are better than that, right?
I mean, maybe, but like I don't know. Like you probably won't see them till the end of or till Saratoga.
I was thinking about this earlier, and it's kind of weird with 3-year-old turf horses because, by July, you typically know who your better 3-year-old dirt horses are. We know our essential qualities, our Hot Rod Charlies, our Medina Spirits, or whoever else. Who like the top of the class is, and who else is respectable, like your Folsoms or your Midnight Bourbons or Rombauers or whoever else. But with turf horses, I don't know if it's just because there really are no grade 1s until later in the year, or maybe they just get brought along a little bit slower. They don't have turf racing for the first couple months on the East Coast, but it feels like I never know who the up and coming turf horses are until like Saratoga. Like that might be when I start to get an idea of like the 3-year-old turf horses that might make some noise. So that's kind of why it's tough. It's like Du Jour is one of the more heavily raced entrants as far as 3-year-olds go. But I still think there's probably more out there. We just haven't seen them.
Yeah. And I mean, also you do sometimes see some of them at Keeneland in the spring, but predominantly the races tend to be, I think, middle to end of the year. So, I think we've already talked about Du Jour quite a bit. I talked that one right into the ground. I prefer Hard Love in here, the 6. I think horses, 3 or 4, only missed in that Central Park where he had some trouble, where he had some trouble in the lane. I think Hard to Love kind of can move forward here and is probably the horse to beat. Perfect with Belmont, and obviously is bred to run all day. So that's my pick. And I realize I'm eating chalk, but I don't think that horse. I think there's a chance that Hard Love does not go off the favorite in this field.
There is absolutely zero chance Hard Love goes off from the favorite.
Yeah, I thought it was a bad morning line. The horse was way too short in the morning line. So like a StableDuel contest, it's a harsh ignore. But I would imagine the horse ends up more like 4 or 5.
Well, he's not the favorite in the morning line either. I mean, the O'Brien entrant is.
Oh, is the O'Brien entrant the favorite?
Yeah, 7 to 5.
I didn't like the
5-2.
O'Brien entrant. So you're right. Yeah. Bellishoy Ballet. Oh my God, how can I not say that? Is it looks like the morning line. Sorry.
No, I ended up where you did, Mark. I think Hard Love's the horse to beat here. I will be getting a little bit of Sainthood underneath there. I like Sainthood going to the turf here. The M. Shaw on top, and a lot of people there's a cult following for offspring there. And I like the way St. Hood ran it Turfway on the synthetic, and now finally getting to turf. I'm excited to see this horse race, especially with Joel aboard.
Yeah, I thought St. Hood was really interesting underneath. I don't think St. Hood can necessarily win, but I think is very interesting underneath.
St. Hood's already got a turf stakes in his belt.
Where?
It just wasn't run on turf.
It just was run on the dirt. And that was it. 9 Ridge.
Yeah, I think of the Aiden O'Brien entrance, this is the one I probably want to beat. But at the same time, if this horse runs back to his race 2 back at the Darristown, Derby trial, then the rest of this field runs for second. There was news that broke that Bolshoi Ballet suffered a laceration to his hindquarters at the start of that last race, and then came out of it really sore. So I'm kind of willing to forgive that last race where he failed pretty bad as the favorite. So, beyond that, this is the horse to beat, but this is one I might actually take my shot against. I do like Hard Love, similar to y'all talked about. So that horse makes a lot of sense and has the ability to be very tactical. I do like St. Hood's, like Brian mentioned. I think this horse is a turf horse. I've always thought this was a turf horse. So I'm excited to see this horse get on the grass, but he does need to improve to win here. And then kind of my complete bomb is actually the 1, Palazzi. I don't know that this horse can outright win, but I think this horse gets completely ignored on the board. And I think he has some very valid excuses in his last couple of starts. 2 back in the American Turf, he was drawn way out in the parking lot, didn't really have any options as far as positioning and run style goes. So Gaffalione took him way up to, pretty much last by a dozen lengths. And he made a nice run to get up for 5th, only beaten about 3 lengths. And then in the following start in the Audubon at Churchill, he was following a really, really slow pace, 51-1 and 116. Like you just can't close into those kind of fractions. So I think his last 2 are a little better than they look. And I do think he could be sitting on a nice race here. Once again, he is at the mercy of a pace in front of him, but it's a smaller field, and I think the pace should be a little more on the honest side. So Palazzi isn't that far out of it with some improvement, but I definitely think he's a horse that could probably run 2nd or 3rd and hit the board.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on 2 horses here. I'm obviously on the 5 du jour here. There's something that I kind of look at now, or at least, especially with these like young 3-year-olds. Like I feel like there's always good value in these 3-year-old races. When you look at these horses and you see a number that is like a speed figure that is excessively high, kind of out of nowhere. And like, I'm not going to say it's bounce, because it could just be something like, hey, like, I don't know, these races are just weird, right? Because you got young horses, you're trying to create a speed figure, for 3-year-olds only. And so I feel like there's sometimes some funny business with these, especially in the time form figs. And when you kind of look through the time form figs, if you kind of toss out the 2 outlier figs in the whole field, which is the 6, the 6 has got a nice big, what is it, like a 112 or something? Sorry, I gotta look at my other 115, right? Although I guess the 110, even 2 races back as a 2-year-old, is probably good enough to win here. So maybe not so much the 6, but definitely with the shipper. You got that 119 that doesn't really fit with what probably the horse probably is going to run somewhere like between like 105, 110. So I'm going to take just like the 2 more consistent horses, right? In St. Hood, who's been running those high 100s, did come back and ran a 99 on the dirt, but that synthetic race, which those figs tend to match up pretty well with turf figs, I think. That 112 is right in here and probably a winning fig in this race. And du jour has been sitting at 108, 109 the whole entire time. So I think one of those 2 is probably going to be your winner in this spot. And And I mean, you're going to get a much better price on Sainthood, so I would probably lean there. But I'm going to be against the two shorter prices on the morning line at least. I don't know what the money's going to do here, honestly. With these shippers coming in from overseas, I never know. Especially because, I think a lot of people still have it in their head that like Aiden doesn't win these races. And I think you saw that last year in the Breeders' Cup where you got really nice prices on a couple of his horses. But I don't remember who it was, but someone had a theory that maybe these European horses are going to fire now that they're coming in and essentially on the even playing field. They don't have to take Lasix. And I know some people said, hey, like, well, everyone gets Lasix and these horses are going to move forward. But if these horses are already proven without running on Lasix, like maybe they get a little bit of advantage. But so I probably just talked Aiden's horse into the winner's circle, but I'm going to stick with the 4 and the 5 here and try and get a little value out of this. And I'm waiting for Mark to. So Josh, you mean to tell me?
That was pretty good.
I'm more upset you guys are on Sainthood. I thought I was going to sit there with a 10-1 sound intelligent, and everybody's on that horse so far underneath.
I wouldn't say on that horse, Brian. I don't know if there's a ton of pedigree that screams turf to me, but I think the horse is very interesting in this spot. Obviously, given the synthetic try, and it has every room, right to be. Maybe it is a turf horse, man. You never know.
All right, we got 1 minute to post here at Canterbury before we move on to Delaware. Is anyone playing anything here, or Caleb, you done?
I am making a bet here. I think this 8 is tons the best, so I'm going to try to find a way to get some value out of this 8. So I have 2 bets here. I have an 8 over 2-3 exacta, and then I'm playing an 8 over the 1-4 double. The 7 is much the horse to beat next race, but I'm going to try to get around him there. But in the event that I can't, I'd like to at least get some value in this exacta here. I think the 8 is just very much the best horse in this race. The 9 is the other horse. It looks like they're betting a little bit, and I'm not quite as convinced that horse is going to be able to get up for second. So hopefully I can get the 9 out of the money and get the 2 or the 3 underneath.
Mark is probably just like desperately searching for any kind of alcohol in the house.
I got more wine.
Oh, there you see. Brian, you got anything here at Canterbury?
8 over 4-7 exacta play. Purely looking for a price underneath a very short horse. I think the 7's a bit interesting here. That Minnesota Nice. There's not a ton of speed here. I think the 1 and the 3 have some speed, but the 7 may be out there being the benefactor if the 1 or 3 end up being inexpensive velocity here. But purely just looking for a price. The 8's the horse to beat, and the 7 here at 16-1 is worth putting underneath. And then the 4, I just like the name, so that's all I got. There's something about rosy cheeks. I want to hear the double of "Let's Skedaddle Rosy Cheeks."
And with Paul Allen, you might get something ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
You would.
I want that exacta just for Paul Allen's clipping.
All right, they're walking onto the turf course now. The Belmont card looks actually pretty decent. We'll see if they stay on the turf. That's kind of the unfortunate thing about this weekend is both Belmont and the other card we're going to talk about, Delaware. They're going to be affected, I think, by the weather. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. For now, like in general, when we talk about stuff, we're kind of talking like they're on the turf. But I'm sure the guys, if you guys got some off the turf plays, you guys will mention it as well. But they're loading in here, and then we can talk about some StableDuel plays first, and then we'll kind of get into the Delaware handicap, and we can talk about race 5 as well. I think we have to talk about race 5, Caleb, right?
Race 5 at
I know it's
Delaware.
fillies and mares,
I
but
think Caleb specifically needs to talk
Ugh.
about race 5.
Um,
But I will say that this entire Delaware card, I mean, obviously Delaware is not normally high level racing. There are some really, really good races on here and some very interesting horses here. It's a fun one. There's a big money StableDuel tournament around it, and I'm pretty stoked to jump into the StableDuel tournament.
Come on, Josh, give us a call.
let me actually pull up the horses because I didn't look at this race.
Didn't realize
But
Nick.
yeah, it went off already. But Brian's horse, the 4 Rosy Cheeks, is out to the lead here. Rosy Cheeks looking like Mark after 3 glasses of wine.
Oh, the horse shrunk, huh?
Yeah, this 8's going to be sitting. This 8's pressing this pace. It looks like 8 does not like how slow this is going.
Yeah, if you ever hear the phrase like he rode him like he's 3 to 5, like watch what just happened on this 8.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, I'm just gonna stay like 2 or 3 wide, not let any horses.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay 3 wide and just make a move in the at the 7/8 pole.
I love that call from that Irish guy. He's like, ride him like he's secretariat or whatever. I forgot what else he says. Yeah, this 8's just sitting.
Just need this 2 or 3 to get underneath.
And stop this race. Stop the race. Let me be that guy. Stop the race.
Oh, I don't be that guy.
Stop the
Is
race.
that the 3 in the blue silks on the outside?
Stop the race.
Yeah, the 3's got some bad intentions though.
I just need him to go straight. Someone get by this 5.
Look at the 7 get through. Come on.
8's drifting.
That's
8's
two.
drifting.
I think 8's gonna.
Two is
Nine,
trying.
9.
Whoa. I
Objection.
got the perfecta anyway. I'll take
Objection. 9
Yeah.
on 8. 9 on 8. 9 on 8.
that. Look clean to me.
Alonzo.
I don't think your 2 was involved, but
Alonzo versus Rye. Here it comes. Let's get it.
Wow, that exacta got crushed late.
yeah.
Knocked down to a $10 probable.
Oh darn! Caleb wins again.
Hold on. Hold your tickets. Hold your tickets, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man, we got 4 minutes till Emerald, so this objection's probably gonna take a little bit, or this.
I mean, we're just assuming there's an objection, right? I mean, if I'm the jockey of the 9, I'm probably gonna at least go say something.
The 9 on who?
The 9 on the 8 before that replay there at the top of the stretch when the 8 was drifting out, the 9 pulled hard out right there. I mean, they're not going to make a change, but
I thought it was more on the 2. I
No,
thought the 2 cut the 3 off at some point, but we could play stewards all we want, but we'll probably get it wrong because I've gotten it wrong all the time. But we got 4 minutes till Emerald Downs. You guys are playing your StableDuel. What you guys got here?
I'm on the 4 here, in which by the transit property.
Oh, me too.
Caleb is also on the 4.
you guys are on Shady Drifter.
Brian, what do you got?
I'm on the 7. I'm on Xanos.
Okay, so Brian taking a little chalk here. What was that horse on the morning line? What we got price wise here?
Well, 3 to 1 on the morning line.
Yeah, I mean
3 to 1 on the morning line. So what I spend for him? 8,000.
this is one of those. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going, Brian. Sorry.
Honestly, I think the 2 is the horse, the best horse here, but I refuse to spend. What was the 2? 9,500, I think it was. I wasn't doing that in this field. The 7 has a lot of value, I thought, here for the run style. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong track.
So hold on here. Brian is in 5th.
Hold on.
I am in 6th, and Caleb is in 8th, taking up the rear.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong 7. Sorry.
Caleb's an 8 taking up the rear. Like, are you talking about within everybody, or are you talking about the entire contest? There's got to be like 80 people in the contest, right?
There's like
25 maybe.
51.
Okay.
Is there that many? Okay.
Yeah, but I just mean of the 3 of us, Caleb is in last place. That's all I was going with.
You guys know if StableDuel ran Sam Houston?
I'm not sure,
They used to, yeah.
Yeah.
but I will say my logic in this Emerald Downs race, I was going to be between the 3 and the 4, and I just was getting a better price in the 4. Everyone else has been beaten handedly multiple times at this level, and I want
Objection. The 9 is filed an objection. Sorry.
Dude, Caleb, what the hell was this?
What was what?
Old Carter Batch 8.
Here it goes. Hey, Josh, you were
Do
asking
you like it?
You were asking what the 9 was going to file on, Josh. They just showed that where the 8 came out pretty hard while you were staring at your bottle. Sorry.
Thank you. No, you're good. Man, that packed the punch.
Yeah, I got. Oh fuck! I didn't bring the bottle in. I was drinking. It was my first drink. Was Old Carter. It's expensive as shit, but it's good stuff.
That was just like like a flavor bomb, man. Like the Doc Swinson's was good, but it was like I don't want to say muted, but like it just like you could tell that it's like a 14 or 15 because it's like a 15-year, right?
It's a 15-year, so you could tell because
like it's just kind of like it feels like everything's kind of like matured, like it's like the flavors are like I know this is probably gonna sound pretentious as all fuck, but the flavors are more rounded, right? They're not like super like pungent and like up in your face, like they're a little bit more subtle, a little bit more like melded together. But this, man, like is just like, hey, bourbon, bam, right in your face. Like
it is. It comes out a little bit hot, but it's real warm, lots of spice and I get a lot of gingerbread out of that one actually.
I'm guessing this is probably like a higher rye.
I don't know what the mash bill is, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good. It's like you said, it's spicy. It reminds me almost a little bit of like Wild Turkey or maybe.
Oh, they got to pull this 9 down. Yeah, after that was egregious.
The 9 down.
Yeah.
Did the 9 foul somebody?
The 9 reacted to what the 8 did. I think that's what they're going to look at here.
Yeah, but they're not going to pull the 8 down. They're not even looking at the 8, right? Because nobody filed against the 8. They filed against the 9.
Well, and the 9 comes off the 3.
8 comes out, 9 comes out, and then 9 impedes the 2 horses outside. So you got to...
Right. The 9...
I don't know. This big flashing red arrow is just so specific as to what the objective is.
It's like this motherfucker right here. That's what we're looking at.
From what I remember, Canterbury before, the arrow points to who files the objection at Canterbury.
I mean, the 8 never really made contact with the 9, although he did come out. I think the 9 kind of.
And this angle here is what kind of gets.
Oh, I was assuming somebody filed against the 9. Yeah, they're not changing it.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not going to take the 8 down.
No.
I thought the 9 might come down for interfering with the 2 horses outside. That's what I was looking at it from the head on because it did make contact outside and could have cost either of those 2 a placing. But how that rule is applied is bullshit. So
Caleb, I'm gonna when I finish up this other sample, I'm gonna rinse these out and clean them nice and dry them out, and then I'll send you some stuff. I know I'm gonna send you that Woodinville pick that I got from Ed DeRosa.
Nice.
Make sure the Postal Service breaks your caps when you send them to Caleb as well. Because
UPS, baby.
That's right.
UPS Essential Oils.
They couldn't have broken something cheap. They had to break something expensive, right?
I know, right? And but they put it in a nice little plastic bag that says "We're sorry," so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. All your bourbon everywhere.
At least.
And then Mark drank the rest of the bottle.
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's really good, dude. It's really good.
It's good. Like I'll tell you right now, Caleb. Like, I'm not gonna say that you're not missing anything. Like, it's just good. Like if you could find it for $60, I would tell you that it's probably the best $60 bourbon I've ever had. But
sorry, they're loading it Emerald.
For the Elysian Brewing Purse.
Is it that much better than Special Reserve? The green label?
Yeah, it is, but like I'm going to tell you that it's not worth. I wouldn't even say it's worth $100 a bottle.
Okay.
So
Weller seems to be the one Buffalo Trace outside of BTAC that just gets like inflated even more than other Buffalo Trace items. I don't get it because I don't really love the Weller line, but I'd rather have like BH Taylor, honestly.
It was the first Weller that, I would agree with that. I would rather have BH Taylor, but it was the first Weller I've ever had that I was like, oh, this is really good.
Because you've had a couple, right, Mark? You've had like the red label, the 106.
Special Reserve. Yeah, I've had a few. It's by far and away the best Weller I've had.
I mean, I like the red label, but I think the red label is just like a high proof weeder, and like $50 is literally like what it's worth. Like, I don't know, like it's
They're still
Come on, Brian, give us a call.
They're still looking at that race at Canterbury.
Dude, Brian just cares about Canterbury. He's like, fuck StableDuel. Like, I'm just looking at Canterbury. But
when you're ahead of these two clowns, like I am at StableDuel, you're not worried about it.
Not once R4 gets up there and wins this race at like 20 to 1.
7
Or
to 1.
7 to 1. Oh.
Yeah, he took all the money. Oh,
And you're Chalk Eating Weasel here with the 7?
I'm a
This is an interesting ride.
When you ride a 7 to 1, like you 7 to 5.
Yeah, when you ride a 7 to 1, like a 7 to 5, that's exactly what's going on right now.
Looks like no change at Canterbury, so Caleb wins, Brian loses.
Yes, you hammered the 4 to 5.
Sure did. Over the 5 to 1. Give me that $10 exacta.
Was that your pick, or did you copy Mark's again?
No, that one was all me. I can pick 4 to 5s like no one's business.
Really? No, unless Juan Hernandez is aboard.
That's true. Then I can't. It looks like our mutual 4-horse Mark might need a buoy or a Uber.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be a big old negative number there.
I just need a 7 to finish in front of you.
Dude, just let the 7 pick up some lengths.
I'm not going to get it. They both suck.
I just need about 3 jockeys to fall off.
Okay, get up 7. Beat the 4. Yes.
Man, this
5
is
too.
impressed by this too. Whew.
You might need it to beat the 5 to get in the positive here, Bri.
No, I'm going to go from 5th to like 40th, but I'll still be ahead of these two.
Dude, I bet you Fu just like catapulted over all you guys.
You probably did, man.
Oh man, fucking Emerald.
So Fu also had the 7. So
you got to double check. Oh man. Well, let's take a look.
Fu sent me a message and asked if we were still doing this. He went to go get a beer down the street at the bar. So,
but I figured we'd go through this Delaware card. We'll kind of take a quick peek at a couple other races. I know Mark sent me a couple of plays that he liked. Mark, let's start at race 1.
Oh, you're going right to race 1, huh?
Yeah, we're just gonna kind of go through these plays here.
Yeah.
Mark, you got a value play starting off this card here, race 1.
Yeah,
Bobby's.
race 1. I like Bobby's the 1 horse. Jane Sabelli, she's hitting at 58% so far this meet. Her percentages are just off the hook, across the board. This horse, first out at Gulfstream, Jose Ortiz was up. You have to assume this one was well meant with, that, rider taking a call. And it's a bizarre spot. Horse tried to debut at a maiden 25, and they're coming back in a special weight, so protected in a special, maiden special weight 40. I would assume this horse is very, very well meant in a field that, quite honestly, is pretty atrociously bad. I'm pretty okay taking a shot with a bit of a price. Getting a $5,000 horse out of the way when I really don't like anyone else in here. And I thought Bobby's was quite interesting.
I didn't cap race 1 yet.
And I was saying Bobby's also.
I was letting it sit there, see if anybody else had anything to say. But Mark kept the fire going pretty early. I think his other play here is actually in race 3. If I can get down to it.
Yeah, race 3 is a situation where this is a play that only applies if this stays on the turf, and that's the 2 Algondal. A horse that, if you look back in the form, has been rained off from the turf 7 races in a row. This is clearly a turf horse. 3 for 13 on the turf, and that race from August of last year at Laurel, should destroy this field at the same level. And I think this is just a case where you're getting a big morning line price on a horse because of just tons of dirtied up form. So I'll definitely take that kind of a horse with, people looking back and going, oh, look at all those terrible figs. Well, yeah, but you actually got to go back to the turf races. Now, if this does come off, if we do catch a lot of rain, it's a horse I want no part of because it's shown no desire to run on the dirt. But, if this stays on the turf, I think Algondal at 10 to 1 for $1,000 StableDuel horse. I think it's an extremely interesting play.
Dude, I just hope so. I was giving Bree crap about Spanish translation that she put up, and I was like, it could be this, but then I'm like, that's also my like broken like first generation born Mexican like Spanish, and apparently she got it straight from I think it's Darwin, right? Oh man, I hope I have the right name. Yeah, Darwin Vizcaya. And so she got the translation straight from him, and I was like, listen to him, like he like actually speaks Spanish as opposed to my like broken ass. And so Mark and I were talking before stream. He's like, yeah, apparently this is a Spanish word. I was like, oh, and then I was like, I think it
means wheat field in Spanish. If I looked it right up, right?
I mean, if I had to guess, it's algodonado, but I don't know. Like I've literally never seen that word. I've literally never seen the word, but if I had to guess, it's algodonado. But so hopefully Darwin and Bree don't see this, because Bree, I gave Bree a little bit of crap about her Spanish, and she's like, I actually got this from Darwin. And I was like, oh, well, he's probably right. So, but we're gonna move on to race 4. Caleb, you got a little bit of a long shot play here in the 4. Paisley singing.
Paisley singing, yeah. So I actually really like Delaware Park. I think of all like the weekday tracks, it is definitely my favorite. Shout out to Parks though. But outside of that, Delaware Park for pretty much the entire meet has had a fairly pronounced outside off the pace bias. It comes and goes on given certain days, and it kind of is a little more noticeable on certain distances versus others. But on the whole, on the main track, you really, especially going one turn, you don't really want to be inside, and you don't really want to be on the lead. Speed hasn't really held up that well. So I think that this is a race where you can get a nice price that in StableDuel especially. The 4 is 15-1, which translates to $500 in StableDuel. And I think this horse is an excellent bet to run third or better. I don't think there's many horses in here that want to make that wide sweeping move off the pace. And the 4 is definitely one of them that likes to come from a little bit off of it. I think that the 5, potentially the 6, potentially the 7, potentially the 2 and 3 all want to be on the lead. That really only leaves the 1 and the 4 as your kind of only closers. And while the 1 used to be a pretty nice mare, I do think her best days are probably behind her. So I do think the 4 here gets an honest enough pace. I don't know if she can beat Chubwagon. Chubwagon's a very, very sharp filly right now. But even if she runs second at 15-1, that's excellent value for a horse that has never been worse than 4th in her last 10 starts, and never been worse than beaten by about 3 lengths. So I think that's an excellent price for a horse that can get you 30 or 40 points easily with potentially upside to win.
So before we kind of like move on to some of these other plays, I did want to ask you, Caleb, right? You got a $500 horse that you like, right? 15-1 morning line. And at least the way I build lineups, right? And I know everyone kind of builds lineups differently, right? Is I look and I try and find like the most likely winners. Like I find like 3 or 4 that I'm like, look, this horse is going to win. And I don't care about the price, right? If they're 6-5, 9-5, whatever, I pay up for them and I just put them in just to kind of build around that, right? So when you're looking at horses that are like 755, like if you're trying to like round out your stable, right? You got 3 horses you need to pick still, and you got $3,000, right? Like what are you looking for? Are you just like trying to find those long prices that hit the board? Are you looking for like a boom or bust pick that like this horse could either finish first or last? Like I don't know. Like what are you kind of looking for there with your last couple $1,000s when building your lineup?
Sure. So it's a little bit more of a loaded question than what maybe it initially appears, because it really depends on the contest format that I'm in. If I'm in a double up or a triple up, to me, I'm all about minimizing risk. I don't want to take a boom or bust horse that might get me 30 points or might get me negative 20 points. I want safety because in a double up or triple up, there's no advantage to finishing first versus finishing in the last place in the money. However, if I'm doing more of a traditional pool style payout where it is relatively weighted top heavy, I would be more likely to consider some boomer bust options in that kind of a format. So I think Paisley Singing is a horse that I would use in either format because I think that she's extremely likely to hit the board and give you positive points. And I personally believe she does have enough upside to run second and even upset Chubwagon, maybe. So if I have $3,000 left for 3 horses, I'm probably going. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in because you're looking at 3 horses in the 10 to 15 to 1 range. So at that point, I'm probably going to be looking towards the best bet that I can make out of that 3,000, even if it might be $2,000, for example. And then maybe I'll try to find 2 $500 horses that I think can hit the board. Maybe I don't think they'll hit the board, but it's only a 5-horse race. So even if I can think they run 5th, can they lose by less than 10 lengths, for example? Those are kind of the ways I would look at that. But in general, I do agree with your strategies. Find your 2 or 3 can't lose horses. And then I generally find my 2 or 3 horses for $3,000 or less that I think have a great chance to hit the board with some upside, and then kind of fill in the middle pieces from there on out.
All right. Let's move on here to Brian's play. Race 7, 12-horse, Bill Tall Dog. Talk to me, Brian. You're muted, Brian.
Oh, I was making fun of your Bill Tall Dog since it's a big tall dog. But
I don't know where I got Bill from. I literally copied and pasted what you sent me.
Let's take a look. Yep, sure did. I'm a big fan of the 1 for 12 angle on a horse. And for 750 StableDuel bucks, I think this horse needed the last race. And this is a tough race. There's a lot of horses that are all pretty similar in running style and figures. So, why not take a horse that, I don't think a lot of people will be covered to in a StableDuel thing. I think, I kept looking at the 6, I kept looking at the 7, and I think those horses are all going to get covered a lot. There's excuses for those horses. The 5, you can go back besides the last race at Delaware. The horse had some good numbers. So, I think the 12 should be a forwardly placed horse. And at 12 to 1, that's what the StableDuel cost is going to be. It might actually be 20 to 1 when they go in the gate. And again, I'm not looking, the horse may not win. I'm not saying the horse is going to win, but if I can get that horse in the trifecta, it'll let me hammer in something else for, a $9,000 play early in the card.
No love for that 3 in there, Brian. I was actually really interested in the 3, Vicarage.
At 8 to 1, I think the 3 would be a solid play. And this, like I said, this field is going to be tight. For a StableDuel play, I think the 3 is great at 8 to 1. I'm trying to find value because I'm still on a mindset where I'm looking for post-time value also, even though you don't need to in StableDuel.
Yep.
And, the 3, I think, is probably more of a 4 to 1 type of horse when they come out of it, when the gate opens.
Exactly. I thought Vicarage had a really bad morning line. You're getting dirtied up for him, rained off the grass in that last out maiden clamor and that maiden 16. Obviously, maiden claiming 16. So we're not talking solid horses here. We're not talking classy horses here, but that race came back. That figure came back very competitive in this field. So I agree with you. I think the horse goes off at more 4 to 1, 5 to 1 range. But as a StableDuel play, I think Vicarage is your play in here.
I can't argue with that. But I'm staying with Big Tall Dog. What?
I just wish for the first time ever you couldn't argue with one of my picks. Really?
Oh, I like the 3.
You feeling okay?
I like the 3. I'm just it's one of those things. I think you'll see a few scratches here, and I think a few scratches are gonna really change the pace in this field. Just because, like you said, you're not talking; these aren't graded horses. You're gonna get some horses that probably don't look the best in the morning. That the connection say, let's cancel this out. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting card. I think there's a lot of spots in this card you can spend your $50,000 for the StableDuel contest, and I'd be surprised if the winner has less than 350 points here, because I think it's going to be a good card.
And by the way, Brian, we all got killed.
In what? Oh, I'm sure. Am I
by the way, you're in third, by the way, Brian, with a lot of bullets left to fire. So you're sitting catbird seat, but I'm in 17th, which is just painful.
I'm in 28th, so thanks, Mark.
You're welcome, Caleb. But
So
when you
Caleb-
but Caleb, it said something. You copied all my picks, and you're behind me. So that means the one horse you did have on your own, you sucked with. So nice job, bud.
So Caleb, or Brian, go for it.
A lot of people got negative points that race. I should have just spent the money on the 2 there, and I just couldn't do it, man.
If you didn't have 1 or 2 there, then that stings.
Oh,
So
well.
Caleb, I have a value play in the big race, the handicap, Delaware handicap. You're the best person, I think, in the group
Gibberish.
of handicapping my picks. You're gonna go with gibberish, huh?
Yep.
Huh.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah,
No
gibberish-
whammies.
yeah,
No
gibberish.
whammies.
Survey
loves gibberish here.
says, oh, close but no cigar.
Oh, it's Miss Marissa, isn't it?
I'm actually gonna go with Miss Marissa here, the 6.
You took the other speed. Got it.
Yeah, I'm taking the other speed. I'm taking the slightly less cheap speed. I think Miss Marissa ran a pretty decent race here at Delaware over the slop. And if you look at that race, if you look at the figures on that race, they actually match really well here with anybody else. So yeah, I'm just going to stick with Miss Marissa. And if she runs back to that Pimlico race, I think I think 6-1 is going to be a very, very nice price for a horse that I don't think can run out of the money. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure Caleb told me outside drawing closers do well at Delaware. So Bonnie South, ice cold single, going to the next race.
Hey guys, hate to chat and run, but I've got to get going. I got kids. I got to get to bed, man.
all right, Brian.
Good luck this weekend, everybody. I will be on StableDuel beating Mark's butt some more, and Caleb will just be looking pretty in 15th spot. So whatever.
There's
See you
worse
guys
ways to
later.
lose.
I did want to bring up the StableDuel contest that it is this weekend. I know we talked about it briefly, but I saw it looks like they're giving like we talked about this, I think, an NFT horse for this Zed Run horse or whatever. So apparently there's some added money involved with this. You can win Ethereum. I don't really know too much about it, but I did see that StableDuel put up a post about it. It looks like it's a $150 entry, $10,000 guaranteed. There's a good chance that there's going to be an overlay in this one. So I would definitely, if if $150 contest isn't out of your bankroll, I would definitely take a look at this one, because this one's probably going to be pretty close to filling. So.
I would even jump in to say, if you're on the fence, like, oh man, do I want to spend $150 on a StableDuel contest? I've made almost all of my bigger wins in the higher dollar contests. You generally don't need to have quite as crazy high of a score, and oftentimes the contests don't reach the guarantee, so you can actually have a bit of a player's advantage going into that as far as takeouts or whatever you want to call it goes. So if you're on the fence and you've been enjoying it, try one out at some time, whether it's $75, $100, or in this case, $150, because you do win more often, and when you win, it definitely sustains you a lot more compared to the $10 contest, which are very tough.
And then Mark has played a couple of the higher dollar I know you played that Gulfstream one last week, and that was pretty for you. Like, you guys were in it for quite a while, both you and Brian, and it didn't seem like you guys were knocking out of the park, but it seemed like you guys had plenty of chances to kind of get right back in it. So
yeah, we did. I think we were all in contention. I'm pulling it up now, trying to remember where I even finished. It did okay, but not where I want to be. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Honestly, I find this. I don't want to mock anybody that plays StableDuel, but these seem to be easier to play than a lot of other types of tournaments. I think there's more, quote unquote, dead money in the pools. They seem to be a little easier to do well in general. So they're a lot of fun.
Everything is just so easy for you, Mark, and Caleb, because he's so damn good looking.
I don't know why anything could look easy for me. I mean, Caleb's
I don't know why things are easy for you, Mark, but I know why they're easy for Caleb. Look at that jawline, God. But anyways, yeah, we're a little bit over, but I figured we should at least get everyone's pick here for the Delaware Park handicap, and then maybe some quick hits in some other spots. So you guys know I like Miss Marissa here. Caleb, where are you looking at here in the Delaware handicap?
Bonnie South's the horse to beat, but taking a Munnings horse going a mile and a quarter kind of makes me want to puke, even though she did run well in Alabama. So I'm going to take the nobody beats me, 222 times in a row angle for Saracosa, the 4. I think she's been keeping some good company, and I do think that she's one of the horses in here that's actually suited to this distance, whereas other ones I'm not so sure about. So she has the off the pace, kind of get out wide run style here. Been running against Monomoy Girl, Valiance. I mean, she was second in this race last year. So I think that Saracosa would be my pick here.
Yeah, I like Bonnie South here. I think she's my top pick. And honestly, I don't hate Gibberish. I think there's a situation where Gibberish could get out and get very comfortable on the front end, and everybody's sort of looking around waiting for somebody to make a move, and they forget that there's a horse in front of them they got to chase down, and T-Mac is pretty good loose on the lead. So I could see a situation where Gibberish actually can steal this on the front end.
And Mark, you got any other races you want to touch on real quick?
No, I think we.
Oh, I got one.
What was that?
Yeah, what do you
race
got?
5.
Oh, here we go.
Here
we go. Mile and 3/8 on the turf. Caleb, what are you thinking?
All I'm gonna say is there's a lot of value in this race. I think Michelob, whatever you want to call the horse, bad Michelin, whatever.
Michelin. It's French.
Whatever it is, it's not going to win. I don't like that horse here at all. So I'm against that horse, and I think there's a lot of ways you could go. The 2 prices I think are very, very usable in StableDuel are the 3, Blame Debbie. And then my top pick, though, would actually be the 5, Temple City Terror. Turn the tables on Delika last time out. Delika is going to be near the lead, but there's other speed signed on here with Blame Debbie and then Candy Flower. So I think Temple City Terror gets the kind of off the pace trip. She loves these longer distances, and I think that you get Brendan Walsh and Florent Drew at 6-1. In Delaware, I think that's great value, and that would be my pick here.
Yeah, I completely agree with Caleb here. I think Michelin probably takes a lot of money, and I don't think she's your likeliest winner. I like Temple City Terror quite a lot in here. I think she makes a ton of sense. And the other price I liked a little bit was Luck Money, this 7 drawn outside horse that, on figures fits. And she has done quite well at these sort of distances on a bit of a softer going, which which you're probably going to see, given that they're going to catch the same what is it, Elsa, the hurricane / tropical storm rolling up the coast. So if it gets real wet, I could see Luck Money doing quite well in the softer going.
Yeah, I also like Temple City Terror a little bit here.
Fuck.
Probably my second choice in this spot. I might not. I don't know how I'm going to play this in stable. I have to look at the other races. But I think Temple City Terror makes a lot of sense. It seems to be rounding into form. It's got a little bit of coming off a little bit of a layoff here, but I think that there might be a bit of speed side on here, so I think this might make sense for the 5 to kind of close in. I think the most likely winner might be your 3, Blame Debbie. I know she wired that last one, but I think that this horse is pretty versatile. If you go back to some of those Keeneland races, has come from out of it, has won on the lead. Victor Carrasco rode this horse last time and won on the lead. So, it's not like you're getting some local jock coming up for the first time, has rode before. And I don't think distance is going to be a problem. And if win 1 at 1.5 miles. So I think I much prefer the 3 than I do over the 4. So if you're going to pay up for a horse in the spot, I think Blame Debbie's probably your most likely winner from the shorter prices. Mark, you were going to say?
I was going to say I'll use one word for blame Debbie, and that's bounce. If you look at her fig on time form, she freaked in that last race. I know Briz does not agree, but I think she probably sees some regression off that last race. Which is weird because normally Briz really flatters those longer distance races, and it did not here. But time form gave her she was like a 10 or 12 point jump, which is not something horses normally repeat as 4-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm a 200-day layoff. First start as a 4-year-old. We'll see, but I get your point.
I did like her a little bit. I'm not gonna, she was basically my third choice, so I wouldn't fault anybody for using her.
All right,
except for Josh. I might fault Josh.
Well, yeah, you'll definitely fault me. But we'll probably have some more like quick hit videos and stuff coming up this weekend, either on our Twitter or StableDuel's Twitter. So check us out there. Obviously, we'll have our link in our video for sign up for StableDuel if you haven't yet. But for Chase and Brian, who unfortunately had to leave a little bit earlier, I'm Josh. Right above me is the good-looking Caleb. Caleb, where can people check you out this week?
Oh, you can check me out tomorrow. I will be joining David Aragona on the Timeform US forecast. So that'll be on Spotify or pretty much anywhere you get your podcast. So we're going to take a look at the late pick 5 at Belmont. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we get to keep on the turf, but we touched on a little bit today. I'm sure I'll probably go into some more detail tomorrow, plus touching on the last 2 races. So yeah, check it out if you don't already. There'll be some good stuff in there, plus whatever I have to add.
Mark, where are you going to be this weekend?
I don't know, chilling out, relaxing, staying out of trouble. I'll be playing some StableDuel tournaments.
Dude, why did I think that he was going to start rapping? I thought
I don't know why.
I thought he was going to start doing the fucking
no rapping skill, Josh. None.
I thought he said chilling out, relaxing. I forgot the rest of it.
Something at the pool when a couple of guys, they were up to no good.
I thought he was going to do it.
You know the words. Don't pretend like you don't know the words.
I was like, this is the content people come to see, Mark.
And I failed miserably. No, I will be playing that StableDuel tournament. Depending, it's going to be very weather dependent what I take a look at. I'll probably be fairly slow this weekend, and I'll show, or I'll in all honesty, Saratoga is a week out, and we'll be trying to relax and mentally recharge a little before the Saratoga meet. Ugh.
Yeah, and I'll probably jump in the StableDuel as well, and I will. I think that's going to be it. And it's funny because I was replying to Foo. I said later, Foo, and I think it filtered it out because it's FU. So. Yeah, I did say bye in Periscope for some reason. I just didn't like it. But I'll hop in that StableDuel. I'll be on Discord. I'll be on Twitter. You guys can catch me at Cherry Drank. Caleb's at CalebWVU. Mark's at 2 Turns. Make sure you check out the Wolf in his 30 million places. And Brian will be recovering from his Indiana Grand trip. So we'll catch you guys later. Thank you.